Are we live? Are we back? Sorry about that, friends. The stream crashed. It's probably because I said, God bless President Trump. And the algorithm got mad. Papa One says, we're back. Callum says, we're back. Thanks for being here. I'm allowed to say Allah Akbar. I'm allowed to say Hail Satan. I'm allowed to say from the river to the sea. Not really allowed to say Christ is king. But I'm allowed to say that men can get pregnant. What's that about? It's the double standards and hypocrisy. I've got videos, don't worry. I just need to do a little bit of production work here. Okay. There, we're done. And we're live. Mom One says they hate 47. LOL. Yes, they do. It's so embarrassing. Mom One says don't watch The Last of Us season 2. It's so stupid. That Ellie, I hate. Well, you know that I can't stand that the actress they got to play Ellie. But you know, the left hates beauty. They've got a real problem with it. You know, it's like, and me, I'm like, let's just put Jenna Ortega in it. Jenna Ortega would be a fine Mexican Ellie. Anya Taylor-Joy, but she's a little too old to play Ellie. But yeah, almost anyone would have been better. But you know, Mama One, the clips I've seen of The Last of Us, it's very faithful to the game. The game, you know, the monsters, the zombies, the clickers. And they follow the plot relatively well from what I've seen. Okay, hold on. I've got. Here we go. Let's see where this ends up. Miko says, I saw that too, Mama One. The car was a mess and absolutely filthy. And Mama One says, have you seen where Ellie says she's going to be a dad? Yeah, it was horrifying. I honestly, you know, it's like, especially the way I play the game, Last of Us 1. I just don't think Last of Us 2 is canon. But I don't think Ellie would turn out gay. I really don't. You know, it's one, she has a very strong, very positive male figure in her life, a father figure, a role model. She has a great relationship with men, thanks to Joel. And two, you have to repopulate the human race. So I don't think you really get the luxury of you know, those kind of relationships. But you know, it's HBO. What can you do? And Neil Druckmann is a massive lib. Miko says, I've never played or watched any of The Last of Us content, but apparently people are not happy with the new TV series. Miko, you should watch a little. We're playing The Last of Us game, part 1, on PS5 on Saturdays, and you should watch because it's a wonderful game. And Callum says, not a big fan of The Last of Us show. If I'm being honest, the actor Ellie ruined my enjoyment when watching the first season. Yeah, and Pedro Pascal is in everything. Also, his politics pretty much ruined his performance for me. I can't watch him anymore. Same with De Niro. And, you know, it's like, and Will Smith. Will Smith isn't really political, but he, you know, that slap really annoyed me. Papa One says the girl who plays Ellie is horrible. Secondly, they made Ellie stupid in this series. And Callum says the second series of Fallout has finally finished filming yesterday. So I can't wait for the second season to come out. Yeah, Fallout turned out well. Papa Papa One says, video game Joel's rolling over in his grave after hearing Ellie say she's going to be a dad. Yeah. Yeah, I can't look at her. And I don't see why I have to. And everyone tries to defend her. And you're not allowed to criticize her. Because then you're some kind of phobic. But I don't see... Well, you know, the left is trying to make the unattractive attractive.
You're safe now.
Because it's somehow more inclusive.
She'll be okay, Arthur.
I'm sure she will.
And I just don't agree. I just don't agree with that. Also, speaking of the left, American Horror Story season 12 is finally available for free on Amazon Prime, and I watched it this week, and it was okay. It was like Rosemary's Baby. It's about an actress in New York City, and she wants to have a baby, and she's surrounded by this cult of feminist Satanists. A satanic feminist cult, witch cult, and you know it's like, and you know, so it's like, I do love this series. It's you know, it's very stylish. It's very scary. But you know, it's super gay. It's very current with current day politics. But I'll tell you this, not for nothing again. These, you know, it's like she's trying to have a baby. She's the actress is played by Emma Roberts, Julia Roberts' niece, Eric Roberts' daughter. Very attractive, and she's trying to have a baby, and everyone around her is involved in the cult. You know, it's like her best friend, her publicist, her agent, her, you know, the doctors, the husband is like tangentially involved, you know, it's like, and they, you know, they're all feminists, they're all complaining about men and the patriarchy, but they worship Satan, a male demon. And I don't understand, you know, that just seems like a lapse in the logic of the, you know, they could have invented a female demon, Hail Lilith, but, you know, they're saying Ave Satanicus. And again, you're allowed to say Ave Satanicus. I can say that as much as I want on stream, but you can't say Christ is King. You can't say Merry Christmas. Super annoying. Anyways, my point is, why would they worship a male demon? You know, they're complaining about the patriarchy. There's nothing more patriarchal than God the Father, the All-Father. That's what they call Odin. But yeah, I watched it. It was kind of good. I liked it, sort of, in spite of myself. Also, Kim Kardashian's in it, and she looks AI. I mean, her skin is not. Is just like, I don't know. She looks weird. She doesn't look real anymore, like a human. But that's just on TV. I don't know what she looks like in person. At any rate, yeah. You know, it's, if you like American Horror Story, it's pretty typical. For and I'm glad I finally got to watch it, but it's not my favorite season.
50 days, and you unfortunately survived. When we ran away from
Papa One says Robert De Niro is pathetic. He plays macho tough guys, but he in film, but he is a whiny fool. He has a trans. His son came out as trans, so his son's a daughter now. And Callum says Fallout is one of my favorite series I've watched, even though it's not too old. For the first season, was very good. Thoroughly enjoyed the first season a lot. Even made my mom watch it also. And need to finish The Office too. But I've been watching Young Sheldon recently. The Office finishes really well. The American Office, it's very sentimental, the ending. They do a really good job of wrapping everything up. Calum says, tried to get into the show Dexter, but I'm not the biggest fan. Though I like it, I just can't get into watching it. The thing about Dexter is, Miami in Florida is as much a character as any of the other characters. The city, the nightlife, the architecture, the fashion, the music,
You take this. I can't use it. And you'll have to.
it's like, so yeah, watch it with that in mind. That is a portrait of Miami. And I'll tell you,
You're never too old to learn.
Calum, I had the greatest sandwich I've ever had in my entire life in Miami. It's called a Cuban sandwich. And I've never had a sandwich as good. I long to have it again.
You holding up, Charles?
I'm okay. Apart from this hand. Stupid mistake.
Still bad?
It'll be fine in a day or two.
Cloudy asks Mama One, agreed Papa One, I'm currently on season 6 of Young Sheldon. Not sure how many seasons are left after that.
You'll be fine.
And Papa One says, my son watches George and Mandy's first marriage just because of Emily Osment, LOL. And Mama One says, yes, Cloudy, I watched season 1, but not season 2. Callum says, supposedly Yellowstone is a good show. It is, Callum. I mean, if you like horses and westerns, it's a modern western. I've heard a lot about it, and it might be my next watch when I finish The Office and Young Sheldon. Yeah, you can see clips on YouTube, Callum, of Yellowstone, which I can highly recommend. Papa One says Yellowstone was fantastic in the first few seasons, Callum. Papa One, you lived Yellowstone. It's basically Papa One's life, Callum. And Callum says, I need to remember to save some episodes of a show I'm watching a few days before the 2nd of June, so I'm not bored on the plane. And Mama One says, I will have to watch it, Cloudy. And Mama One also says, Dexter Season 1 is a masterpiece. Same with True Detective Season 1. Yeah, HBO used to be great at making shows. Mama One. See, like this scene, this looks very PS5-y. I mean, you can tell that, the graphics are sharper, more defined, and it looks beautiful in HD. The upscale they did, but, we're streaming in 1080p, so you can't really tell. Cam says, yeah, I like season 1 of Dexter. Stopped watching after season 2. I like his sister, Deb, Jennifer Carpenter, who they married in real life. Which seems a little awkward. Callum says, what type of sandwich did you have, Antonio? I will tell you, Callum. It's called a Cubano or a medianoche, which means midnight. And it is, first it's made on a Cuban sweet roll, okay? Which is just like, it's kind of like a French bread roll, but it's very soft and it's grilled. And it is, it consists of slow roasted pork, garlic pork. So it's like slow roasted overnight. With pickles, mayonnaise, ham, mustard, and Swiss cheese. That's it. And then they grill it. They put in a panini press. And just that combo of all those flavors, the mustard and the pickle and the ham and the slow roasted pork and the sweet bread and the crunch from the grill, it's the best tasting sandwich I've ever had in my life. It was a religious experience. But yeah, I highly recommend it. Sometimes you can find them, like there's Cuban restaurants. And I think the Cheesecake Factory had a Cuban sandwich for a while. So yeah, you can find them every, in America sometimes, especially on the East Coast. I'm not sure if you could find one in Ireland. Callum says, that sounds like a juicy sandwich. It's delicious, Callum. It's one of the reasons why America is like 75% obese. I just read that our obesity rate is 75%, which is crazy. Cloudy says, I watched Norbert and Harold and Kumar go to White Castle and Rat Race. Early 2000 movies were so good. Yeah, because they weren't afraid of offending people, Cloudy. And Callum says, glad to see you finally got the PS5. Hope you're enjoying it. Although I can tell you are already, especially with the PS5 games you have coming up for streams. Yes, we're going to do Stellar Blade for sure. And Papa One says, Mama One has the best Cuban sandwich. I bet she does. And Callum says, I heard America doesn't have the best butter. Though, apart from the Irish butter. You can buy Irish butter in America, Callum. Kerrygold Irish butter. And honestly, I can't really tell a difference. But I'm not really a butter connoisseur. I always want to do this mission, Old Friends, before we go hunting. We're not doing all of Chapter 1, Papa 1. Not tonight. We'll continue it, the hunting and the train job next week. But I like to do this before we do Charles because it unlocks Deadeye and it makes grabbing that sheep a lot or that deer a lot easier. There's sheep up here as well. You know I got your back.
As far as I can tell, the only fools out here are us and them. They must be this way.
Cam says, I would love to see you try those Dark Pictures anthology games, which I have seen are on the PS Plus store for free if you have the subscription. And Micah says, what happened to the other stream? It crashed, Micah. I apologize. And Cam says, and if you were to play any, the best one is definitely Devil in Me. Mama One says the algorithm didn't like what we were saying, Micah. Yeah, the algorithm is very unkind. What was I going to say? Oh, I'm thinking about getting Silent Hill and Resident Evil 4. Those are both on PS5 in RE Village. So we can finally play Lady Dimitrescu. But that's in first person. And if we're going to do first person, we might as well get Cyberpunk 2077. I've heard good things about the I don't know, I hear it's patched. People are calling it Cyberpunk Red Dead Redemption 2. I like the sound of that. It's first person. I hate first person. We shall see. And Callum is laughing at what Mama One said.
This is it. Are we goddamn...
And Miko says, yes, YouTube will shut down streams that are not in line with the narrative. Narrative is the key word, Miko, because narrative implies fiction, a collective fiction that they are trying to promote. Much like the Emperor's New Clothes. Callum says, I've never tried a Resident Evil game before. I'd love to try it sometime, though. I love Resident Evil. And Micah says, I love the original Resident Evil 4. Callum says, Cyberpunk looks awesome apart from the men-on-man content. Yeah, but we'll play with a female V if we do. Because, I do like female protagonists. I just want pretty ones. I want sexy ones.
There they are.
Papa One says, I can't wait to see Super Antonio get scared with Resident Evil 7 or 8. Yeah, there's tripwire landmines or booby traps in Grand Theft Auto, or not, in The Last of Us, Papa One, and they scare me every time. They jump scare me. And Callum says, I can agree with you on that, Antonio. I know you can, Callum. Speaking of pretty girls, let's bring Sadie back on stream. Micah says, they actually improved the Spanish in the Resident Evil 4 remake. They actually used the correct dialect in the remake. Interesting. Makes sense, it's a Japanese game for Japanese viewers who are not really paying attention to dialects. And I'm sure all Spanish sounds the same to them. That's the thing about Resident Evil is the franchise is it wasn't written for the West. It was written for the Japanese. The Japanese like puzzles. They like mazes, in addition to shooting zombies. You know, so it's much more of a puzzle intense game. But I really feel that The Last of Us, at least part 1, is very much American Resident Evil.
Seems easiest to take the same path down as Bill and Micah. Like you said, revenge is a luxury we can't afford. Yeah, just wasn't sure you.
It's always annoying how slow Dutch walks in this sequence.
Our needs right now.
But there is a scene coming up that I love where Dutch tells Arthur to be careful when we're on a switchback. It's very fatherly. It's like one of the only times where Dutch is acting like a father instead of saying he is a father. Mom one says, I wonder why they went to just 2 characters in GTA 6. I hope this one doesn't stick around for 12 years like GTA 5 did. LOL. I'm sure it's going to stick around for a while, Mama One. I'm sorry to say. And I think Lucia will be a girl boss. Callum says, agreed, Mama One, but if they do, I hope the DLCs are way better than the current ones. And Papa One says, I'll never forgive Rockstar for abandoning Red Dead Redemption 2 and the online. Well, it doesn't fit with the narrative. They don't like to have men in charge of the video games. And even Last of Us 1, we'll get into it more, but there are only 2 men in charge. The rest are girl bosses. You know, it's like Tess is obviously the alpha. Marlene is the leader of the Fireflies. We'll get into it more tomorrow. There's this like local gangster named Robert who betrays them. And there is Peter, who is a cannibal and leads a bunch of cannibal raiders. And so those are the 2 men that are allowed to be in charge in The Last of Us Part 1. And in spite of all that, it's still a great game and that I love and one of my favorite games. Callum says, I still hold that grudge against Rockstar also, Papa One. Always hop on Red Dead Online just to hope something new came out apart from some previous limited time clothing that stays for an entire month. No, that's all you're going to get are skins. They just want you to play around and shoot your friends.
What are we doing, Dutch?
Mom one says, that's what I do, Callum, sometimes just to change it up and enjoy online edition horses. I do the bounty hunting and jobs for Hamish. Didn't actually want to start like this. I forgot that we didn't have Deadeye yet. So we're just going to charge in there. This is probably my favorite mission in Chapter 1. The train job is good too, and you get more money from the train job. A little harder to see what's going on, and also Deadeye's unlocked in the train job. But here with this like daylight and the crystal clear snow, you can see where everybody is. Sadie's tired, Miko. Micah says Rockstar could have made a lot of money off Red Dead Online, but I guess GTA 6 makes up for that loss. Yes, they do. They don't even try. They don't even care. And Micah says you can get Micah's revolver in this mission. Yeah, we've done that. We didn't do it this time. Callum says, I like doing jobs for Sadie and Hamish when I hop on once or twice a month in Red Dead Online. And Mama One says they should add more roles like train robberies, more in-depth cattle and horse wrestling, stagecoach robberies, and other stuff. I think they're making so much money off Grand Theft Auto GTA Online that's just the priority. They won't allocate budget, talent, writing to this game simply because they make so much more money on the other game. And also, there's no one passionate at Rockstar about this game. Callum says, agreed, Mama One. Wouldn't even mind a little ranch of my own online, but they definitely wouldn't do that. That's a good idea. Mom One says, I play online like every 3 months, usually legendary bounties, then back to story mode. I have been doing several challenges, like seeing how long Arthur can survive with max bounty and no supplies. And Micah says, I wonder how the train robbery would have been if the dynamite hadn't malfunctioned. You're right, Micah. Would have been a lot easier. Mama One says, that would be a great idea, Callum, and you can defend it from the gangs. Deadeye's unlocked and the game gets 10 times easier. Callum says, think they should hire us all for the Red Dead Redemption Online revival. Well, it's something to think about, Callum. Maybe you should apply. I think they've got a rock star in Ireland. You know, like, see if you can get a job as an intern. Get your foot in the door. You know, and then you just make tea for everyone and make photocopies and get them to like you. Get someone to like you, to take them under your wing, to mentor you. And they will tell you how to get an actual job as a dev. What kind of skills you need to learn. What kind of degree you need to get. If you, in fact, you need to get a degree. Because you can get AI to do all the coding now. Micah says, Arthur also gets a lot of slack. I kind of felt bad for Bill because he took the blame for it. Yeah, it might have been a wiring problem, Micah. Callum says, that wouldn't be a bad idea, Antonio. And Papa One says, yeah, Callum, do that and make Red Dead Redemption 2 great again. Mom One says, it's sad seeing the gangs decline from a tight-knit group in chapters prior to Chapter 6. Yeah, but they had to show the decline to show you where Dutch is at in Red Dead 1. I show you all of this. Oh, I'll show you a new, but this isn't a PS5 difference. I think this is just because this is the latest update. We had to get the latest update. The PS5 demanded it. But I'll show you a difference when we get to it. There's two differences. Callum says, I've seen Ark Survival Evolved made an AI video for the new game trailer, and it looks horrible. Okay, this chest used to have a coin purse. It does not have a coin purse anymore. What's that about? And Micah says if they make another Red Dead game, they should show the rise of the gang.
We're waiting on you, Arthur.
Callum says, I would definitely recommend not having a look at it, as I don't think any of you will be impressed. And Mama One says, in Red Dead 1, if you go back to Dutch's hideout, you can see he never lost his taste for the finer things. He has a typewriter and a luxury bed, and other things. Interesting, I never did that.
Mike, search that building. Arthur, you take that building to the left.
Sorry, friends, my eyes were bothering me. And Mama One says, I want to see Landon Ricketts' backstory and why he moved to Mexico. I think he retired to Mexico. At any rate, friends, that's about all I have for you tonight. I'll bring Sadie back. These lights bother me sometimes. That's, a lot of streamers, like will wear sunglasses on their streams, and it's because of the lights. Callum says, still no games that have my interest this year at all. Hopefully something good comes out in a few months. Levi Elijah says, hello everyone, and hello Super Antonio. Greetings, Levi. Shout out to the mods. I apologize for the stream crashing. Mama One, Callum, and Papa One, and Miko Herptile, Serena will return tomorrow night with the Last of Us stream. Mike, I think I got a dog hair in it. Thanks for being here. Great talking to all of you. I'll leave the stream going for a little bit, and you guys can talk amongst yourselves. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening, friends.
It's okay. It's okay. You're safe now. She'll be okay, Arthur.
I'm sure she will, Mary Beth. You okay there, Karen?
Fine, but I would kill for a whiskey.
You ain't wrong.
We'll get off this hill.
I hope so.
Stay strong.
It's been a nasty few days.
I know. And we've had tough times before. We keep moving, and we keep together. Same as always. All of you. Ain't that so, Mr. Morgan?
Of course.
He that is so impoverished that he hath
Just need some
no
thoughts so we
oblation.
can get those wagons
chooseth
out.
the tree
I know.
that will not
We'll be
rot.
okay.
He seeketh unto him a cunning workman to prepare a graven image that shall not be moved. Have ye not
How you
known?
doing, Uncle?
Have ye not heard?
I'm okay.
Hath it not been
I've
told
been
you
through
from the
worse.
beginning?
You know, there's one
Have
time
ye
in
not understood
Sorry,
from the
I can't right now.
foundations of the earth? Is it he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof
Hey, how's
are
he
as
doing?
grasshoppers?
He's okay.